Hey guys, it's Retri, and today I'm drawing this Queen of Darkness. And while we're at it, I want to talk a little bit about art. What is art? Most people think of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, or any of the other Ninja Turtles when they think about art. But that style of painting, oil painting, at the time, that was like the best thing they had. But today, you have Photoshop, you have all the digital art, and what is contemporary art and popular art has changed as well. I think the biggest artist would be Warhol right now. But what really is art depends on basically the maker or the viewer. I mean, famously, Boyce sued his housemate for cleaning out molding butter from a corner in his room, which he had placed there as an artwork. And then he sued her for destroying his artwork, which is, of course, ridiculous. But there's been artwork where people shat on a canvas, or artworks where people just made a collage of like 100 PPs and all kinds of stuff. But there's only a few artists that are really popular, and most of them don't really do any what you consider classical drawing or painting. And yeah, of course, you have another sector where games like 40K or companies, I should rather say, like Games Workshop and Blizzard and those fantasy sector companies, they commission art for their content because it's obviously too expensive to make a real life Space Marine suit or spaceship or what have you, and get some guys in costume and hire a photographer to do it. And another thing is, all that is becoming irrelevant as well, because you have, on the one hand, you have apps on your phone that can just turn any picture into a comic version or a stylized drawing or something like that, or an oil painting. Like in Photoshop, you have several filters to do that, and nowadays you don't even need to know Photoshop. You can just install the app and voila, boom, you got your artwork. So what really makes an artwork, that is the question. I think it's the idea, because yeah, I see most artists, other artists that draw, they usually do this fantasy sector stuff, or they do just hot chicks, just portraits of babes. And you can do that for a while, but I think it gets boring after a while. And the other thing is, how do you want to make a living from that? Because it still is the case that most artists are poor all their life long. So it's not really, a kind of business you want to get in. You don't want to get art. You don't want to become an artist to make money. So even if your talent is like similar to a musician, a lot of people can play an instrument, but an orchestra in any city, even if they charge people for the tickets, usually they are taxpayer funded and they're subsidized. So without that, they wouldn't even be able to, rent the building, pay for all the bills. It's a music is subsidized, and so is art to a degree. Another thing that has changed is, nowadays, with the onslaught of computers, you have these stock sites, so websites that have like hundreds and millions of pictures, artworks, in stock, so you can just buy them if you need them for any business purposes or something like that. And the normal viewer can just go online, and there's loads of art sites where you can just Google for artwork. So it becomes it's not rare anymore. Or it's like with music, you don't need a guy to actually come by and play a guitar play drums. You don't need to go to a concert. You can just push a button on your computer, and then music plays from some iTunes or whatever, or some website where you listen to music. So it's become even more replaceable, I would say. And with art, the way I see it developing is these apps, what you have now, that's gonna become the norm, I think, because it's if it's cheaper, that's what people will want or buy, be it those companies like Games Workshop and Blizzard and all these fantasy style companies. And the other thing is in real art, and in the galleries and stuff, it's really what's more extreme. You have to be extremer than everybody else to really be noticeable or to sell. Is one thing selling an artwork for like a couple $1,000, but selling artworks for a couple $1,000 year in, year out, that's like you need context. Is in that kind of world is really all you got, contacts to rich people, and they're just giving you their pocket money for their amusement, basically, which is kind of like the way it was when in Leonardo da Vinci's days and Michelangelo's days, where the church paid him for all his fancy artworks. Because without that, he couldn't have done it. Well, he could have done it, but it wouldn't have paid. So why do it? And or how even afford all the helping artists? They had like a bunch of learning artists that helped them do all this stuff. And I look at my YouTube channel. I see now that I'm doing these artworks, I do it myself, so I don't blame anybody for doing it. You just click on the video, and then you scroll forward, jump forward to where you see the artwork, and boom, you look at it for a few seconds, and then you click off the video, or you don't even click on the video because you're expecting something else. And or people want different content. They want like memes or funny content, and there's the audience for this kind of stuff is small. So this got me thinking if this is really something I should, the way I'm doing it now with this painting right here, where if it was just a portrait, I could have done it in maybe a few hours if it was just a head of the woman. But since I have the woman, I have the chair, I have the two panthers on each side, I have the little dog, the elephants, these kind of bronze statues, and then a torch in the back, and the window and lights coming in, and you do all that. And even I use stock images of patterns for the core of the tiles and stuff like that. And still, I took like 9 days to paint this image. So it would have to pay like 2 weeks worth of pay, basically, if I was to sell it, or if this had been a commission. And on YouTube, I don't know if it's ever going to go up in views, but the way YouTube is, it's not really for art. There's artists on YouTube, but being good at art, when I started doing art, I was 6 years old. I was basically a prodigy. But even then, I didn't get paid. You won some competition or something, or people were like, "Wow, you can paint! Wow, you can draw!" But the amount of work you put in, and then I'm thinking like, what if I had become like a stock trader or something? Then I could really be making like something of I could gain something from doing this. So if you want to be an artist, really what I think is you have to do it for the fun. It's basically, for me, it's like relaxation, meditation, to your head can go on a journey while you're thinking of something that occupies your mind, and painting relaxes you. But other than that, I don't really, I would consider myself good at art, not in Photoshop so much, because colorization was nothing I ever done that much. But even in my day, like 15 years ago, when I went to art school or studied art, people were they were printing out, they were putting together pictures on the computer in Photoshop, and then printing it out in gray, holding up against the window, and then putting a piece of paper on top and sketching through. So basically cheating. And of course, they got good grades for their homework, and then they were in class and had to draw, and then they were like, oh, my pencil's broken, I can't do it today, you know, I'll bring it in next week, you know. And yeah, this is the way art is developed. Like when I was in school, Photoshop was just coming up, you know. It was like you know, before Photoshop it was CorelDRAW. That's the first program I ever used for like art. Or I think even before that I used Paint, and then back then it was just putting pixels together or photos, and you couldn't do that much with these programs. But nowadays you can do a lot with them, and the trend is like they're doing it by themselves. You don't even have to do anything. And like that's the future of this sector, where you're probably gonna have a program someday, and you type in bird, and it searches you images of birds, and you just click the one you want, and then you click what art style you want it, and it'll give you like different versions of paintings of the bird, and then you can just print it out, and that's it. And then it's gonna cost you $12 or something like that, you know. So it really devalues what the work or the time amount that someone has to spend to learn how to correctly paint, and construction of the faces and all that stuff. You have all the basics that you know, if you're an artist, you know what I'm talking about. But normal people don't even understand that. It's kind of like the training of getting an eye for where the nose is, how big it's got to be, where the sides of the nose, all those features in the face and stuff like that have to be. And you know, I don't know if it's valued that much. And right now I'm thinking like this YouTube, doing paintings like this on YouTube, that's not going to work. And I have to do change it up, maybe do something different, or I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what you think, what your thoughts on this. Yeah, I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching. As always, bye.